Have you ever walked into a room hoping to make an impression, only to feel invisible? Or wondered why some people are effortlessly respected and heard, while you seem to struggle twice as hard just to be noticed? Let me tell you about Alex, a man I once met. He wasn't wealthy, nor did he have an eye-catching appearance. When I first met him, Alex was just another employee at a large company. But here's what stood out. In every meeting, people listened to him, even though he wasn't the loudest or most dominant voice in the room. The secret? It wasn't power or prestige. It was the rare habit Alex practiced every day, small but profound actions that most people overlook. He never rushed his words, always listened patiently, and responded thoughtfully. Alex understood that every person has unique value, and by consistently showing respect and attentiveness, he built a network of trust and admiration that elevated his social status over time. In this video, we'll uncover 7 rare habits inspired by Stoic philosophy that can help you achieve the same. These habits are simple yet transformative, and they don't require you to change who you are. From mastering emotional intelligence to building resilience and gaining confidence, these lessons will guide you to not only make an impression, but leave a lasting one. Stay with me, and by the end of this video, you'll have practical steps to elevate your presence and connect with others on a deeper level. Share this with someone who might need it, because this knowledge could change their life too. 1. Always keep your promises and build personal credibility. Have you ever thought about what makes some people naturally respected and trusted while others struggle to gain recognition? It often comes down to something so simple, yet profoundly powerful: keeping promises. This single habit lays the foundation for trust, builds strong relationships, and establishes a reputation of unwavering credibility. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, "If you wish to be good, first believe that you are bad." This isn't a call to self-criticism, but a humble acknowledgement that self-discipline starts with self-awareness. Keeping your promises, whether big or small, is a reflection of that discipline. It shows not just your ability to follow through, but also your respect for others, their time, and their trust. Let's consider something as seemingly ordinary as meeting a friend for dinner. Imagine this friend always arrives on time. It doesn't matter if it's a quick coffee or an important celebration, this person is consistently there, ready, and dependable. Over time, their punctuality creates a sense of trust. You don't have to wonder if they'll be late or if they'll cancel unexpectedly, because their actions align with their words. It's not about the grand gestures, but the small, consistent habits that leave a lasting impression. Now think about someone else who frequently arrives late or cancels without notice. Even if their intentions aren't bad, their lack of reliability begins to erode trust. It sends a subtle message: their priorities outweigh yours. While this might seem harmless in the short term, it creates a ripple effect, making it harder for others to fully respect or depend on them. This is why keeping your promises matters. When people know they can rely on you, they respect you. Each promise kept becomes a building block in your credibility. It's not just about what you do for others, it's about who you are. Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Keeping your promises is the simplest, yet most profound way to embody this principle. The Stoics believe that our actions, no matter how minor, ripple outward. Each choice we make shapes how others perceive us and how we perceive ourselves. When you honor your commitments, you not only strengthen your relationships, but also reinforce your self-worth. It becomes a virtuous cycle. Keeping promises builds trust, and trust elevates your social standing. Breaking promises, on the other hand, carries a cost. Even small lapses can chip away at the trust others have in you, and over time, rebuilding that trust becomes a challenging task. The damage isn't just external, it affects how you view yourself. Doubt creeps in, and confidence wanes. Rebuilding credibility requires twice the effort, making it far more practical to simply honor your word from the start. I remember a friend, Daniel, who embodied this principle effortlessly. No matter the occasion, whether a casual lunch or a high-stakes business meeting, he was always punctual. At first, I didn't give it much thought. But as I spent more time with him, I began to notice how his reliability set him apart. People trusted Daniel, not because he was flashy or loud, but because he consistently showed up. One day, I asked him why he placed so much importance on punctuality. He replied, "It's not about the clock, it's about respect. When I honor your time, I'm showing you that you matter to me." That perspective has stayed with me. It's a reminder that keeping promises, even in small ways, isn't just about fulfilling obligations, it's about showing others their value. And this, in turn, builds your own credibility and influence. If you want to practice this habit, start small. Promise only what you can deliver, prioritize punctuality, and always follow through. Each commitment kept, no matter how minor, becomes part of your reputation. Over time, you'll notice how trust grows, relationships deepen, and respect follows naturally. As Epictetus said, first, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This isn't just advice, it's a blueprint for living with integrity. Keeping promises is about more than trust, it's about the legacy you leave in every interaction. It shows who you are, and in doing so, it transforms how others perceive you. In a world where actions speak louder than words, let your actions consistently say, "I am someone you can count on." 2. Continuously learn to become a person of value. Have you ever noticed how people gravitate toward those who always seem to have something meaningful to say? These individuals often hold a quiet authority, commanding respect not through wealth or power, but through their knowledge, wisdom, and ability to add value to any conversation or situation. At the heart of this ability lies a single habit, the relentless pursuit of learning. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Learning isn't just about acquiring information, it's about transformation. It's about becoming the kind of person others admire and trust because of the value you bring. Knowledge, unlike fleeting trends, is timeless. It builds credibility, sharpens your perspective, and elevates your presence in every interaction. Let me share a story about Oprah Winfrey. You probably know her as one of the most influential women in the world, a symbol of success and empowerment. But what you might not know is how her relentless commitment to learning helped her rise to where she is today. Oprah didn't come from privilege. She grew up in poverty, facing hardships that could have easily defined her life. Instead, she chose to define herself through learning. She sought opportunities to grow, whether by reading books, engaging with inspiring individuals, or reflecting on her mistakes. Oprah's hunger for knowledge became the cornerstone of her success. On her talk show, she learned from the stories of countless guests, absorbing wisdom and sharing it with her audience. She once said, "I am a woman in progress. I'm just trying like everybody else. I try to take every conflict, every experience, and learn from it. Life is never dull." This perspective transformed her into a beacon of value, not just as a media mogul, but as someone who inspires millions to seek their own growth. The lesson here is simple but profound. When you invest in learning, you invest in yourself. Every book you read, every skill you master, and every experience you reflect upon adds to your reservoir of value. And when you share that value with others, you elevate not only yourself, but also those around you. The Stoics remind us to focus on what we can control. Learning is entirely within our control. You can't dictate how others perceive you, but you can decide to become someone worth admiring. Continuous learning ensures that you're not just adapting to life's challenges, but thriving in them. It's a commitment to becoming a better version of yourself, one that people naturally respect and gravitate toward. Let's make this actionable. Imagine dedicating just 20 minutes a day to learning something new. It could be reading a book, listening to a podcast, or taking a short online course. Over time, these small, consistent efforts compound into profound change. For instance, if you read for 20 minutes daily, you'll complete about 15 books in a year. Imagine the insights and ideas you'd gain, and the way those insights would enhance your conversations, decisions, and relationships. Oprah's journey teaches us that learning isn't just about personal success, it's about contributing to the world in a meaningful way. By continuously growing, she became a source of inspiration, someone whose value transcends titles and accolades. And this is the essence of what it means to elevate your social status through knowledge. You don't have to announce your growth. It shows in how you think, speak, and act. As Seneca also said, we learn not in the school, but in life. Life itself is the greatest teacher if you approach it with curiosity and humility. Every mistake, every triumph, and every encounter holds a lesson waiting to be uncovered. When you commit to learning, you equip yourself with tools to navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and inspire others. So ask yourself, what's one thing you've always wanted to learn but haven't started yet? Perhaps it's a skill that could enhance your career or a subject that simply fascinates you. Whatever it is, begin today. Take one small step. Because the journey of learning doesn't just make you smarter, it makes you someone others admire and respect. In the end, the value you bring to the world is directly tied to how much you invest in yourself. Be like Oprah. Be like the Stoics. Seek knowledge relentlessly, share what you learn generously, and watch as the respect and admiration of others naturally follow. 3. Learn and use people's names. Have you ever felt the warmth of someone addressing you by your name in a conversation? It's such a simple gesture, yet it holds extraordinary power. A name is more than just a word. It represents identity, individuality, and recognition. When you remember and use someone's name, you're not just engaging in polite behavior. You're sending a message that says, I value you. This small act may seem insignificant, but its impact is profound. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By consciously choosing to remember and use someone's name, you show attentiveness and respect, qualities that resonate deeply with others and build lasting connections. I once worked with a colleague who had an incredible ability to remember the names of everyone in the office. While I often struggled to recall names, he seemed to have a natural way of making people feel seen and valued. He would greet each person by name, seamlessly weaving their names into conversations during meetings or casual chats. It wasn't just a party trick. It was his way of showing respect and creating a sense of belonging. What struck me most was how this habit transformed his relationships. People trusted him, sought his advice, and felt comfortable around him. This wasn't because he was the loudest or most charismatic person in the room, but because he made others feel important. It's a practice that the Stoics would greatly admire, finding virtue in small, intentional actions. To master this habit, you don't need a perfect memory. You need intentionality. When you meet someone new, repeat their name during the conversation. For example, if someone says, "Hi, I'm Laura," respond with, "It's nice to meet you, Laura." Repetition anchors the name in your memory. You can also associate their name with a unique characteristic or memory to strengthen the connection. Using someone's name doesn't mean overusing it. Subtlety matters. Naturally, incorporate their name when emphasizing a point or acknowledging their contribution. For instance, during a meeting, you might say, "I agree with the point you made earlier. It was insightful." This creates a balance between acknowledgement and authenticity. Of course, forgetting a name can happen, and when it does, humility goes a long way. Simply ask politely, "I'm sorry, could you remind me of your name?" Most people appreciate the effort and won't think less of you for asking. In fact, it shows your intention to connect and correct the oversight. Remembering names isn't just about politeness. It's about fostering deeper connections. People don't forget how you make them feel, and using their name is one of the simplest ways to create a positive impression. As Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Forgetting a name might feel like a small adversity, but the effort to learn and remember demonstrates your willingness to grow and engage. Over time, this habit becomes second nature, and its impact grows. You'll find that people respond to you more warmly and openly. They'll associate you with thoughtfulness and respect, qualities that naturally elevate your presence in any social or professional setting. Incorporating this habit into your daily life aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within your control. You may not control how people perceive you, but you can control how you treat them. Remembering a name, though simple, is a powerful way to say, "You matter." It's a habit that builds trust, fosters connection, and leaves a lasting impression. By practicing this consistently, you contribute to a culture of recognition and respect. In doing so, you elevate not just your own status, but the quality of interactions around you. As Epictetus taught, What concerns me is not the way things are, but the way people view them. Remembering names changes how people view you, as someone who listens, cares, and values the individuality of those around them. And that's a quality that never goes unnoticed. 4. Have opinions but share them respectfully. Have you ever been in a discussion where sharing a differing opinion turned into a confrontation? It's all too common. People often mistake expressing an opinion for dominating a conversation, forgetting that how we communicate can be as impactful as what we say. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Similarly, the way you share your thoughts can either build bridges or burn them. Expressing your opinions is essential. It demonstrates confidence and individuality. But doing so with respect and consideration elevates you as someone worth listening to. A respectful opinion doesn't seek to dominate, it seeks to connect. This subtle difference is what sets apart those who inspire collaboration from those who create division. I remember an experience from not too long ago. I attended a leadership workshop where participants were encouraged to share their perspectives on effective team management. When the event ended, an older gentleman approached me. He complimented me on how I presented my opinions. "You have a way of making your point," he said, "without making others feel attacked or uncomfortable. It's rare." He went on to share how, in many discussions, people with opposing views often end up criticizing one another, shutting down the dialogue. "My approach," he said, "created a space where everyone felt invited to contribute." That moment stuck with me. It wasn't just about being heard, it was about helping others feel heard too. This is the essence of respectful communication, recognizing that every person at the table has something valuable to offer. It's about fostering understanding, even when disagreements arise. The Stoics taught us the power of control over our emotions, our reactions, and our words. As Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Listening is as critical as speaking when sharing an opinion. It shows that you value others' perspectives and are open to learning, not just asserting your view. Imagine a group meeting where one person insists their way is the only way. Their tone dismisses alternatives, and their words leave no room for dialogue. Contrast this with someone who, before sharing their perspective, takes the time to acknowledge others' contributions. They might say, "I appreciate what you're saying, and I'd like to build on that with another perspective." The difference is night and day. The latter approach not only respects others, but also invites them to engage further, creating a productive exchange of ideas. This balance between confidence and humility can be practiced. First, pause before speaking. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to say constructive? Does it add value to the conversation? Next, frame your opinions in a way that includes others. For instance, instead of saying, "You're wrong, here's the right way," try, "I see your point, and here's another way we might consider." Another key to sharing opinions respectfully is timing. Not every moment calls for your perspective, even if it's well-formed. Choosing the right time to speak is as important as the words you choose. A well-timed opinion lands with more impact than one shared impulsively. In life, you will encounter moments where your views differ from those around you. In those moments, let the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius guide you. If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone. The goal is not to win every argument, but to contribute meaningfully and grow through dialogue. When you approach conversations with respect and openness, you elevate not just your social status, but also the quality of interactions around you. People will seek your perspective, not because you're always right, but because you're someone who listens, learns, and inspires trust. This is the power of having opinions and sharing them with respect. It builds connections that last far beyond the conversation itself. 5. Give sincere compliments. Have you ever received a compliment so thoughtful that it stayed with you for days, perhaps even years? A genuine compliment, when given sincerely, has the power to uplift, inspire, and transform. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminds us, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. This same appreciation can extend to others when we take the time to notice and acknowledge their unique qualities. Compliments are a gift, but like any gift, their value depends on the intention behind them. A sincere compliment is not about flattery or manipulation. It's about truly seeing someone and honoring what makes them special. When we compliment from a place of authenticity, we not only uplift the other person, but also cultivate an environment of respect and trust. Let me share an experience. A few years ago, I worked on a project with a colleague named Sarah. She wasn't the loudest voice in the room, nor did she seek attention, but her organizational skills and ability to handle complex problems with calm precision were unmatched. After a particularly challenging deadline, I told her, "Sarah, the way you navigated those last-minute changes while keeping everything on track was remarkable. You made it look effortless." I didn't think much of it at the time. It was just an honest observation. But weeks later, Sarah told me how much that acknowledgement had meant to her. She said it gave her confidence in her abilities and encouraged her to take on more leadership roles. This simple, heartfelt compliment didn't just make her feel valued. It strengthened our working relationship and elevated the team dynamic. This is the power of a sincere compliment. It's not about filling awkward silences or being polite for politeness' sake. It's about noticing the extraordinary in others and reflecting it back to them. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, once said, "No one is so lacking in fortune as to not have something of value to offer." Compliments help reveal that value, often in ways people may not recognize in themselves. However, sincerity is key. Generic compliments like "good job" or "nice work" are easily forgotten because they lack depth. A meaningful compliment requires specificity. It should highlight a person's unique effort, skill, or quality. For example, instead of saying, "Great presentation," you might say, "The way you explained that complex topic made it so easy to understand." Your ability to simplify things is impressive. By being specific, you show that you've truly paid attention and that your words carry weight. But let's not overlook the importance of timing. A well-timed compliment, given when it's most needed, can have a profound impact. It's the difference between a passing remark and a moment that stays with someone forever. A compliment after someone has overcome a challenge or demonstrated their strengths has the power to reinforce their confidence and motivate them further. At the same time, avoid giving compliments with hidden intentions. Using kind words to curry favor or achieve a personal goal feels insincere and devalues the compliment itself. People can sense when praise isn't genuine, and instead of building trust, it erodes it. As the Stoics teach us, integrity is non-negotiable. A compliment given with no expectation in return is the truest form of generosity. When you practice giving sincere compliments, something remarkable happens. People begin to associate you with kindness, attentiveness, and emotional intelligence. They see you as someone who notices what others overlook and values the small, meaningful details. Over time, this elevates not only your relationships, but also your social standing. You become someone people respect, not because you demand it, but because you've earned it. So how can you start? Pay attention. Notice the effort, dedication, or talent in those around you. Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or even a stranger, take a moment to recognize what makes them unique. Then, express your appreciation in a way that feels authentic and specific. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Let your compliments reflect those thoughts, genuine, thoughtful, and uplifting. In the end, giving a compliment is about more than words. It's about fostering connection, showing gratitude, and creating a ripple effect of positivity. With every sincere compliment, you not only lift others, but also elevate yourself as someone who sees, values, and respects the world around you. 6. Quickly acknowledge and own your mistakes. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you made a mistake and had to decide whether to admit it or avoid it? Mistakes, no matter how small, can either strengthen or erode the trust others place in us. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, it is not things themselves that trouble us, but our opinions of them. Acknowledging your mistakes swiftly isn't just about resolving an error. It's about demonstrating integrity, humility, and emotional intelligence. I once witnessed a small but profound act of accountability. At a nearby table in a cafe, a group of young friends was chatting animatedly. Amid the laughter, one of them accidentally knocked over a vase, causing a small crack. Everyone froze for a moment, unsure of what to do. Then, one young man from the group immediately called over a staff member and said, "We're so sorry, we didn't mean to damage this vase. May we compensate for it?" The staff member smiled and reassured him, saying, "It's no big deal. We have plenty of vases. No need to worry about it." But the young man didn't stop there. He thanked the staff sincerely for their understanding, apologized again, and they left shortly afterward. About 30 minutes later, he returned, carrying several boxes of pastries. He handed them to the staff, saying, "This is just a small way to show our appreciation and to make up for the trouble." His actions turned what could have been a forgettable mishap into a moment of connection and respect. When we take responsibility quickly, we control the narrative. Rather than allowing the mistake to define us, we shape how others perceive us through our response. Admitting an error shows that you value honesty and accountability, which in turn builds trust. On the other hand, evading responsibility creates doubt and damages credibility, often far more than the mistake itself. So how can you adopt this habit? Start by recognizing the mistake without overthinking it. If you break something, miss a deadline, or let someone down, acknowledge it as soon as you're aware of it. Use clear, honest language. For example, instead of deflecting blame or making excuses, say, "I made a mistake, and here's what I'm doing to fix it." This approach not only diffuses tension, but also shows that you're committed to resolution. Humility is equally important. Avoid over-apologizing or turning the mistake into a dramatic confession. Acknowledge the error, outline a solution, and move forward. This balance between accountability and action is key. It demonstrates confidence in your ability to correct missteps while respecting the other party's time and perspective. Incorporating a gesture of goodwill, as the young man in the cafe did, can leave an even greater impression. While not always necessary, such gestures reflect an extra level of care and responsibility. They transform a negative moment into an opportunity for connection. Why does this matter? Because how you handle mistakes reveals your character. People don't expect perfection, they expect honesty and effort. Acknowledging your faults shows that you're human, humble, and willing to grow. These qualities resonate deeply with others and foster mutual respect. The Stoics teach us that mistakes are inevitable, but they are also opportunities. Seneca wisely observed, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Each time you own a mistake, you create a new beginning, one where trust is restored and relationships are strengthened. Over time, the habit of quickly acknowledging your mistakes becomes a defining trait. People will see you as someone dependable, not because you're flawless, but because you have the courage to admit when you're wrong and the determination to make things right. This builds a legacy of integrity that far outweighs the momentary discomfort of taking responsibility. So the next time you find yourself at fault, embrace the opportunity to own it. Apologize sincerely, take corrective action, and, if appropriate, go the extra mile to make amends. In doing so, you'll not only repair the situation, but also elevate yourself as someone worthy of trust and respect. After all, as Marcus Aurelius taught us, what stands in the way becomes the way. Let every mistake you face be a stepping stone to growth and connection. 7. Master the art of storytelling. There is a quiet power in storytelling. It is not just the words we use, but the emotions we evoke and the connections we build. The Stoics understood the importance of narratives, both in how we frame our own lives and how we connect with others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Through stories, we shape perspectives and inspire change. Imagine a gathering where someone begins to recount a seemingly ordinary event, a walk in the park, or a conversation with a stranger. What sets their story apart is not the event itself, but how they share it. They describe the sound of leaves crunching underfoot, the warmth of the sun on their skin, or the moment a stranger's smile reminded them of a long-lost friend. Their storytelling transforms the ordinary into something meaningful, inviting listeners to feel, reflect, and connect. This is the art of storytelling, to paint pictures with words and bring others into a shared experience. It is not about dramatics or exaggeration. It is about truth conveyed through vivid, relatable details. When done well, a story captivates and leaves a lasting impression. The Stoics believed in clarity and simplicity. A good story reflects these values by focusing on the essence of the experience. Strip away unnecessary embellishments, and what remains is authenticity. It's this authenticity that resonates with others, building trust and admiration. One evening at a family gathering, someone shared a story about a seemingly mundane day, helping a neighbor carry groceries. But as they described the elderly woman's gratitude and how that simple act of kindness brightened both their days, the room grew quiet. Everyone listened, drawn in by the simplicity and sincerity of the tale. It wasn't the act itself that captivated me. It was the feeling it conveyed, the humanity in the moment. To master storytelling, focus on observation. Notice the small details others might overlook. Frame the story around the emotions it evokes, not just the events. Be concise yet vivid. Use metaphors sparingly to deepen connections but never to obscure clarity. A well-told story does more than entertain. It bridges the gap between people. It reminds us of shared experiences and universal truths. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Through stories, we reframe those imagined fears into lessons and moments of connection. Master this art, and you'll find that your words linger long after they are spoken, leaving behind inspiration and trust. As we draw to a close, let us reflect on the powerful lessons shared today. Each habit we've explored, keeping your promises, continually learning, sharing respectful opinions, giving sincere compliments, remembering names, owning your mistakes, and mastering storytelling, offers a path to elevate not only your social status, but also your character. These practices are not just tools for external success, they are foundations for inner growth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. The path to becoming someone respected and admired lies in your daily actions, small and consistent. Start with one habit. Choose to keep a promise today or give a thoughtful compliment. Reflect on your interactions and notice the changes they bring, not just in how others see you, but in how you feel about yourself. These habits, rooted in attentiveness, respect, and integrity, create a ripple effect that transforms relationships and strengthens your influence. Remember, mastery comes from practice. Each day presents opportunities to refine these skills, to pause, reflect, and act with intention. The more you practice, the more natural they become, until they are a part of who you are. Now I invite you to share your journey. Have you tried any of these habits before? What impact did they have on your relationships? Share your stories in the comments below. Your experience could inspire someone else to begin their transformation today.